Go to @hofirugs on Instagram to enter the giveaway. Hello and welcome to Resin Crafting with Chris Collected. On today's episode, I am going to use this turtle mold along with other little fun molds and make just some fun stuff with the rest of this art resin. We are going to be using several new molds that I got during my unboxing life video. Make sure to go check that out. We have a turtle, 2 flowers, a Monstera leaf, and that big circular one is going to be the top and bottom of a UFO. This is a 2-part resin. We're going to fill it up to the 5 line and the 10 line. 5 for the hardener and 10 for the resin. I recently read that you're supposed to put the hardener in first, then the epoxy resin, so that's what I did in this video. If you believe it's different, make sure to put that down in the comments below. I feel that this version made more bubbles initially though, so I'm not sure if it is the correct method. I'm still using my new epoxy mixer. It seems to be going pretty well. The only thing is I think it is a little bit slower than me doing it manually, but I believe it does put in less bubbles. So I guess I just have to learn patience. There we go, now all nice and mixed up. Today we're going to be using Black 3.0 from Stuart Simple and Cultural Hustle. This is an acrylic paint. It is extra dark. Also going to be using the gold glitter from the same company. That is Culture Hustle on Instagram and on their website. I dumped in a heavy amount of it because I really wanted it to be the full face of it to be gold and then have black as a backdrop. We're going to go ahead and put half of it into the black. We're also going to be using this Tahitian Sunrise Emerald City mica powder. That is to cover the Monstera leaf, while everything else will be done in black. Even the flowers. I wanted this to not be see-through, so I made sure to put a lot of mica powder in there. Also, I cut out of the video, but I did take a little bit and put it on the side as well. We're also going to be using the silver and putting that into the green, so that's a slight tinge of silver, but not a lot. Especially when you compare it to the gold, where I put a ton. Now let's mix it up. It's maybe a little more see-through than I wanted, but at the end of the day, I think the video makes it look a little lighter than it is in real life, and it came out perfect. This is the first time I've ever used acrylic paint with resin, and it worked really well. I've seen other people do it, so I knew that I could do it. I bought these products over a year ago, and they're still good. I think if I had to put even more of that black in, I could have got it really dark. Now let's go ahead and pour. Got to make sure to get all that resin out of the container. I ended up having the exact right amount of this green. It was just a guess, but I figured it'd be about 5. However, I did keep some in reserve as a clear, just in case I needed to redo either one of them. I learned my lesson from the previous video. Now let's see that from a different angle. Wow, doesn't that just look amazing? I love how it slowly fills the container. It really shows you the true nature of a liquid, that it will fill the container it is in a slow and methodical method. Happy Halloween. Now back to the show. Okay, now let's use up the black and gold. The idea here is that the entire top of these flowers will be a bright gold, while the bottom of them will all be solid black. I figured it is Halloween season after all, so I gotta do something a little spooky. Same thing as turtle. The whole back of the turtle and the top of the turtle will have gold flakes, whereas the rest of it will be a pretty much solid black. I'm surprised this mold has worked as well as it did. I figured I wouldn't be able to pour this type of resin in, because this is not deep pour, this is a regular pour. But it does work up to 2 inches, and that is what the turtle is, so it does work. And these flowers, I of course was trying to be very cautious, because you can get air bubbles incredibly easily with some of that level of detail. So what you do is you pour slow, and you pour from one place only. You notice I never move it. And I find that these pieces are some of the best ones that I've ever made. Resin is a lot about patience and discipline. Let the liquid do the work for you and become the solid that you want it to be. Now let's get the UFO done. This first piece is the spaceship itself, the unidentified flying object. And then the other large cylinder is its abduction ray. So you can think of a cow or something like that in a field being sucked up by a UFO. That first one is the UFO itself, and the second part is its little abduction ray. The second part is definitely not meant to be solid, so that you could kind of put something inside of it, and then it would look like it's being sucked up by the UFO. It's a very clever mold. It was made by craftkitsune. Feel free to check that kit out. I'm not sponsored by them, but they do make good molds. I was very happy with how the spaceship turned out, but I think ultimately I should not have made this one so dark. But it does make a cool little container. And I was definitely very worried about air bubbles here, so you can see me going in there deep and trying to make sure I can get all the air out of it. This is my first time using the UFO mold, so make sure to subscribe and you'll see me use it in future videos. As we wrap up here today, I got a new lighter, and I actually bought an entire set of Bic lighters, so now I have about 10 brand new Bic lighters. You can see the flame on that is so much larger. But unfortunately, it's not one of the adjustable ones. So we're just going to have a big old flame over everything. But everything demolded really well. I had no problems with it at all. I really love how all of these came out. And something that I did not put on video, but you can see that mold on the left, those two little hearts. I ended up using that clear resin that I had as a backup. I ended up using that as well, and just made those two on the left completely clear, which turned out really well as well. This was overall one of my best videos, and I'm very proud of it. Thank you so much. Make sure to stick around and see the photos at the end. Happy Halloween!